You are out in left field. You are entitled to your opinion. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, but you're going to make the decisions for me. So the Padres have solved the internal crisis, they say. A.J. Preller, Bob Melvin, dugout, clubhouse, etc. Now the business at hand in what is now the start of the Padres offseason, since they have no bleeping postseason. What are they going to do with these guys? John, take your fan's hat off, put your general manager's hat on. You tell me, Juan Soto will have one more year left on his contract. It'll have probably a value of $33 million. Do you play out the contract and see if he hits superstar numbers again, which then leads to superstar salaries a year from now? Or do you try to get the deal done now? Or do you just trade him and maybe flip this back into rebuild mode? John, you're the general manager from left field in opinion.
Well, I mean, it depends what you get. I've heard people say we should package a deal to get Trout from the Angels. So if they were able to get like a marquee guy to replace him, I'd say that's fine. That's acceptable. But they shouldn't trade him for prospects back, because we'll never get what we traded away. And I figured this guy had a sensational season in 2023. He's likely to duplicate it next year. I mean, I don't see any urgency to trade him. The other guys in the roster we can debate, but not Juan Soto.
Is there an urgency to sign him to an extension right now, or do you let him play out the final year of the deal?
Well, Scott Boras is going to go all the way into free agency, right? That's what he always does. If they can work a deal long-term, that'd be great. You know, people said that Soto's enjoyed his time in San Diego, but it's all going to come down to dollars and cents. If this $200 million payroll thing is real, then I have a hard time understanding how they're going to make that work.
On we go to the second guy, Blake Snell. Cy Young Award numbers. We've not seen these kind of numbers from a starting pitcher dating back to the Bob Gibson era, and that was a few fastballs ago. Josh Hader, same scenario, closer of the year. What do you give Snell? What do you give Hader? Snell making 16, Hader making 13. Snell might go to 20 to 25. How long a contract do you give him? What kind of dollars do you throw into it? What do you pay Josh Hader? You're the general manager.
Well, I mean, I was really disappointed with Josh Hader not wanting to do a 4-out save. I mean, come on. There would have been some games we could have won if he would have come in the 8th inning. So I'm prepared to turn the page on Hader, provided that Suarez is ready to step up. And we got a couple of other guys like, Cosgrove, it was pretty surprising out of the bullpen. Blake Snell is a guy, man. If you could find a way to keep him, you do it. He figured it out, and I think he's in a really good spot right now. And he's a guy that we all like him personally, but his stuff is awesome. He's got a 4-pitch mix. It's A+ on all 4 of those pitches. How could you not want to keep him? So, I mean, and besides the fact Lugo and Wacha are probably going to be gonzo, you're not sure what Yu Darvish is going to be next year. Snell is a guy I think you can count on.
Okay, so what are you offering Scott Boras, general manager?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's going to require a lot, right? I mean, probably $30 million a year.
Not for a pitcher.
No?
Not for that pitcher.
Well, that's what Kershaw gets, doesn't he?
No, Kershaw's in the 22 bracket.
Oh, he is?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know. What's the goal? How much did
Snell made 16?
Well, he'll make more than that.
Of course.
How much did Garrett Cole get?
I want to say 25 to 30.
Yeah.
But he's been dominant year after year after year.
Right.
You got one summer out of Snell that was really significant.
Mm-hmm.
If I were king, but I'm not. You're general manager.
Okay, so
quit passing the buck.
How about 25 mil? It's easy when it's not your money, right? 25 mil over 5 years. I think that sounds pretty good.
5 years for a pitcher? Don't know.
25 million times 5. So that's what, $125 million deal. I say we do that because Musgrove got 20 million times 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Snell 25 times 5. That's what I do.
Okay. General manager has spoken. and you are of the opinion as the general manager in left field at this hour, you're not going to be able to afford Wacha, Lugo, Nick Martinez?
That's a tricky one because again, if they have the $200 million limit, I don't see how the math works. But if you had Lugo and Wacha will probably get about 15 a year, maybe.
Max.
Yeah. Lugo probably in the
10.
high single digits.
Yeah, maybe 10.
Yeah. 8 or 9, something like that. Those guys were really, really good. I mean, with the exception of Wacha having that injury and he was out for like a month and a half, those are guys, because who do you have to replace them? I mean, you can't count on, what's that guy, Russ Kinnear? You can't count on him. You got the Robbie Snelling guy, but he's like in Double-A. He's not really ready for prime time. They have to have some of those guys they can plug in third and fourth starters. So I think you've got to find a way to sign them too. But I mean, that's going to maybe take your payroll $253 million. If you bring them all back, you're looking at what, 280, 290. I don't know how that goes. And who can you get rid of? I mean, the Hosmer deal is still on the table. I mean, he's making what, 13 million for a couple of seasons. It's not like any salaries walking out the door unless they trade Juan Soto.
Your reaction to Grisham? Is he a $5 million a year Gold Glove center fielder hitting 199? Is he worth more? Is he worth less? Don't you want him back? You're the general manager. You started all this.
Well, I think we have to turn the page on him. He can't hit. I mean, we saw flashes of it when we first got him from Milwaukee, and we thought, oh, we had a home run on this deal because he's hitting better than Urias. And who was the pitcher that went in that deal?
Eric Lauer.
And the pitcher we got in return was doing way better. And I thought that was a great deal. But then suddenly he can't hit. And his defense is fabulous. But the right move is to take Tatis, put him into center, and then find someone else to play right field. And that could be Garrett Cooper. It could be any number of guys. But you can't have a guy that's almost an automatic out in your lineup. I mean, it just makes no sense.
Okay. Fans Forum. You're a Padre fan. You're a baseball fan. Help the general manager here.
I need help.
Tell us what you think. Hit us up in the chat box with an opinion or a question or a comment. Fans Forum about John Riley's general manager stewardship of the Padre roster. Let's go from that team